Hello guys, welcome to our channel again. So today we're going to be discussing data types. As a reference, you can just try this one. So it will directly give you Salesforce data types reference. So what are Salesforce data types in a nutshell? We have primitive, S objects, collections, enums, objects, and null. So the primitive is just like in any other language. So the atomic data types, we have integer, double, long, excuse me, date, date and time, string, ID, Boolean. We have the S objects, we have um, the standard ones such as account and contact, and then the custom objects that you can definitely create. Example is this one, which is or rather which has this one double underscore C, which stands for custom object. And then you can think of objects in Salesforce as tables in old school databases. Okay. And then collections, we do have list as an array, and then set is just like an array, but it's unordered and it will not contain duplicates. And then a map, which is just, in some other languages, key value pairs. And then enums, so it's like you can create your own data type. So probably it's best understood if we give an example later. And then the mother of all objects, which is just called objects, so it can occupy any kind of objects inside it. And then null for a null variable or value. Okay, so that's it in a nutshell, the Apex data types. So on the next lesson, we'll discuss about naming convention. Okay, so next up, we're going to be discussing how you name your variables. So, um, yeah, variables and your classes, your methods, your constants, whatever. So first off, how do you name your classes, just in case you will be creating classes? I know our topic is focused on data types, but it's best if I give you the clear picture on how Apex works, because you will actually create classes before you would, create an object, and knowing how to name them is very crucial. I mean, you know, going with the convention. So let's start off with classes. So um, it starts with a capital letter. Typically, this Pascal, what they call a Pascal case, so capital letters and all together, and next is another capital letter for the next word, as this example here. Okay, and then methods. So for a method, start with a lowercase, and it should be a verb, and the format is camel case. So camel case is start with a small letter, and the next word you concatenate it and capitalize the next word. Then next is a variable. So same, you start with a lowercase and lowercase letter, that is, and it should be meaningful. And then it's camel case, so probably a noun rather than a verb. And lastly, the constants. So it should be all caps with an underscore as separator. And it is called the snake case, so it looks like this. So that you'll get a, you know, look on how the class looks like in Apex. So this is what it looks like. This is a simple class. So on top here, this is your class name. So you would use the Pascal case here. Next is your property, and this one is a variable. So this is a camel cased. For constants, it's Nick cased methods. Like this example, it's camel case, but it's a verb. And these other two ones as well. Okay, so it's not really complicated. You do not even need to know what these are for now, but just focus on this thing. So let's example, you will name a class, so do it this way. Naming a variable, do it this way. Naming a constant, do it this way. Naming a method, do it this way. Okay, just don't forget that you need to use a verb. Okay, and then next up we will be discussing what is a constant in Apex. Okay, so do stick around. Thanks. Hello guys and welcome back. And then yeah, we'll be discussing constants. So in Apex, constants are variables that you can only initialize once. And to define a constant, you need to mark the variables as static and final, as in these sample declaration here. All right. So we're going to be testing this one out on the development console or developer console. So here's the code now. As you can see, I just created a class. So just go here, file, new, and Apex class. Just name your class here, click OK. So that's how you create a class. All right. So this is a running sample. So we will try to run the code right now. All right. So this is pretty basic. So all you need to do is instantiate a class from my first class. So this is the statement. And then once it's instantiated, just run the object and access the method, which is this initialize dumpy. All right, let's execute it. And by the way, it will just simply show the value of the pi. So execute and click debug only, and ta-da, you'll get the pi, or rather, the pi's value. All right. Now let's show you the error if we try to initialize it. So all you need to do is control save. And there you have it. You will get the error. But I guess if you try to run the code again, it will just run. But I'm not sure if it's a warning or an actual error in the code. But it runs, but you have a problem, which is not good. Right? To fix that, all you need to do is just don't initialize a constant again. Okay, so that's it. Pretty simple. Just don't forget the static final keyword modifiers for constants. All right, so on our next lesson, we'll be discussing primitive data types. So stick around. Thanks. Hello guys, welcome back to the continuation of our tutorial. So yeah, we'll discuss integer, long, double, and decimal. So an integer is a 32-bit number that doesn't include the decimal point. This is the minimum value. This is the maximum value, and this is how you declare it. Okay, so let's just declare it first. So we'll start in small steps. That's how you declare an integer. You can just do a system debug. All right, it's a no-brainer. Say num, concatenate the num, and run it. Okay, I forgot the semicolon. And execute it. And click debug only. And there you have it. Okay, so let's display the maximum number, which is this one. And later I'm gonna show you the bug or how it works? Okay, so that shouldn't be any problem there. By the way, no commas, guys, for integer. All right, no problem. But if I want to display the minimum that you can handle, it's not gonna work. Okay, removing the commas, and then kaboom. So illegal integer, but this is actually stated in their documentation. All right, so let's check this one out as a workaround. Okay, so pretty much just display this and then add 1 to it. So let's just try to simplify stuff. So we're going to be displaying the max. So what is the maximum? And add 1 to it. Okay, we'll go back there. Remove the commas. And then it's saying add 1. Maybe this will work. Execute. Debug only. Yep, there you have it. And the suggested solution is to put it in a different variable. So let's say go here. I'd say max num min num is max num plus 1 for some reason. Okay, then you'll get the minimum number. Okay, there you have it for some reason. Yeah. So this is what we call like an overflow for the values in the if you study like lower level memory stuff, but you don't need to, but it's something to do with overflow. Okay, or buffer overflow if they I mean that's what they call it, right? But I just wanted you to be aware. Well, my point is I want you to be aware that there's such a thing as this one, an integer. Okie dokes. All right, next up is long. So pretty much long is just like an integer, but way bigger, and it has this L notation. All right, so let's just declare one. By the way, the L notation is optional. So let's just declare one and try it. Okay, so long L is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there's no notation. Let's say long long 2, something like that. And then I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. L, say long 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. L, and then I'm just going to do system debug for the 3 of these guys. So, L for the first one plus L, so that you can see that they both work the same way. Long 2, long 2, long 3. Okay, so this will actually work. The only time that you need to specifically add a small l or a big L, the suffix at the last, is that when you cross the boundary of integer. Okay, but I'll demo that one later. Let's just try to run this guy. All right, as you can see, it actually works right there. Okay, no problem. And then let's try if we cross over let's say this is the max boundary, okay? So, so this should not give us any problem if I do a system debug, like so, since we're not breaking the max value of the integer, so yeah, still shows you that. But the moment we violate the maximum, let's say this is 7, right? Let's say 8. So it will say legal integer. So we can put L on it, I mean at the end of it, and then click debug only, and then there you have it. It actually displays the long value without any kind of issue. Okay. All right. And next, like what we discussed earlier, that it's the same as an integer. It has this issue again. So let's say this one's the max. Let's try to display it. Doesn't have any issue, by the way. Works. Works like a charm. There you go. But if we try to display the minimum, it's a different story for some odd reason. Execute. Legal long. So what's the workaround? So just tuck it into another variable. Let's say max long. Then let me grab the value of the maximum long right here. And then I'd say long min long is equal to max long plus 1 for some reason. And then let's just do this, okay? So it should display this particular value without any issue. There we go. Debug only. Ta-da! Alright, so I'm thankful for this particular piece right here, for this particular link by Alan Morey that was created 8 years ago. Okay, so that's about it for integer and long. Next is double. So what is a double and what is a decimal? So basically a double and decimal are numbers that are capable of handling a decimal point or that has a fractional part, okay? So like this for a double, that's how you declare double. This is how you declare decimal. So the only thing that you need to note is that when dealing with numbers, dealing with currencies, salaries of that kind of nature, just use decimal, okay? Because currency fields are automatically assigned the decimal type in Salesforce. For scientific mathematical purposes, you can just use double, okay? I know there's kind of like a technical explanation between the difference between the two, but just keep it simple, okay? So you can move forward a lot faster. So I'm gonna be showing you how to declare them, okay? So let's start with a double. So this should be very easy. Let's say copy this right here, DD, like this, okay, and then execute. There you have it. And then what about for decimal? Yeah, you can just simply change this to decimal. By the way, guys, you can do do it like this, small case, because it's, you know, Apex is case insensitive. But for me, I'm a sort of a Puritan, so I wanted to look as it should. That's why I just capitalize it. For some reason, it's just for personal preference. Doesn't really matter. Okay. So there you have it in a nutshell. We've discussed integer, long, double, and decimal. Okay, so probably in the next part, we'll discuss probably Boolean and string, and then let's try to target date and time if possible. All right, so stick around, guys. Thanks. Hello, guys. Welcome back, and we'll continue our discussion for the remainder of the data types. So first off, we'll discuss Boolean. So Boolean has three values: true, false, and null. So, yeah, it's a no-brainer. It's just like any other languages. So, yeah, let's see. All right. And then just do system debug. Then is winner. Let's say is winner. So click execute and then click debug only. That's true. And then if we change this to false, it should be the same deal. And let's try the other value, which is null. Execute. Yep, it also accepts null. All right, so it is just like any other language. Now for string, so just use single quotes like this one. For string, system, debug, just say name, and execute. Not much special with strings, but the only thing that you need to be aware of is this one. But anyways, right off the bat, if you run this rather, yeah, doesn't recognize double quotes, so only single quotes, guys, for Apex string. All right. So there you have it. And next is date. So the value that indicates a particular day. So yeah. All right, this is the example. Let me just copy this so we can run a lot faster because it's a fairly easy topic. Okie dokie. So this is actually a year, month, and day. So just a tip. So when you actually type in like this one, new instant. I think I can't type today, but let me try it again. I want to show you something. Okay. So if you try to like type in the name of the method, it will actually give you some hints. Let's say year, integer. I mean, year is an integer value as well as month and day. Okay, just to make things a lot easier to remember. Okay. Okie dokie. Now let's try to execute and debug only. There you have it. Works. So this will only display, let me see, let me run it again. Only display the date. Okay, not the time. But for some odd reason, it's sort of there. All right. Next up is the time. So time, a value that indicates a particular time. So create time with system static method. Okay. By the way, guys, you cannot do this with date as well. Let's say you would try and do this some reason. This will yield an error. Um, yeah, if you, yeah, illegal assignment from string to date. So it doesn't actually apply a string, but you could, I think you could do, yeah, you can sort of cast it. Let me think of how to cast this one. Let's say string to, but okay, just forget it. Just, Just don't do this. It's not gonna work. Okay. So you need to instantiate a date. All right. Okay, so we're gonna be doing date and time. So it's the same. It has a date, it has a time. So it's the combination of these two, obviously. So same thing. All right. So there you have it. If we try to run this one, it should display the date and time that we've specified. All right, it's fairly easy, guys. Don't you worry. And then this one, the ID. So for the ID, we have two kinds of ID, the 15 and the 18 length IDs for Salesforce. So an ID in Salesforce is every record has an ID, okay? And it's embedded in the URL when you try to access the record. That's how Salesforce system works. All right. So any valid 18 character Lightning Platform record identifier, that's an ID, also accepts 15 and 18 character ID. So the 15, I believe that's the old ID. And then if you have a 15, it automatically converts a 15-digit ID to an 18-digit. So, yep, there's a tip here. Storing an incorrect ID will yield an error. This one. System string exception invalid ID. Okay, so I've already created samples of this one. Let's start with an 18 character ID. All right, so as you can see, this is 15 in length. It will print this value at the end. So execute, then KHA, even if we just specified the 15 character. So it automatically converts it. Okay, and then lastly, the ID, the 18-digit one. So it's the same deal. Execute, debug only, and ta-da, you have your ID. So let's just hop into Salesforce and let's do a demo where you can locate the ID. So let's pick one here, Gene Point. All right, this is actually let me sort of maximize this one. Hang on. All right, so let me try to go back. So we've went to account and then we go to Gene Point. And then on top is the URL here. Hope you can see it. Okay, let me just copy it and sort of maximize it here on the console. So here's what we've copied. So every record has that sort of ID wherein you could use that to search for the. Okay, let me just use a query editor here. Okay, so just, for demo's sake. All right, so let's say select ID, name from account, where ID that we copied, which is this one. So this is now the SOCL part. I'm just pointing out that you can grab the ID and search for it, okay? And you can display the records. When we execute, you'll see it. No semicolons, guys, sorry. Bad habit. All right, so there you have it. That's the ID of Gene Point, which is on the account. All right. And then next is this blob. This is actually an advanced topic. So what is a blob? So a blob is a collection of binary data stored as a single object. So say for example, we have a file, like a PDF or an image file, and you want to literally store that file inside the database record. So how are you going to do that? First is you sort of serialize this, this file, because files are just, computer codes if you break it down. So I think it's best so that you can visualize it, you know, um, it's sort of serialized and deserialized. So when you serialize a file, it becomes this sort of format. Most common one is base 64 format, and then you put it inside a database. And then once you want to retrieve it, you want to extract those string or the blob and reconvert them, or deserialize them again to become a file. So to demo that, I think first off is we're gonna be getting an image. So this is kind of like how the blob works. It's not exactly how it works in Salesforce, but you know, let's just find an image first so that it's okay, let me download an image here. Say just a small image. Doesn't really matter. Let me just try to save this image to my downloads. Best image. Or let's just use a PNG, guys. It's a lot lighter file. Oh, let's try Mario. Okay, so let's just save Mario's file. Let's see, Mario. Can we do it with PNG? Oh, Mario's not a PNG. Um, hopefully I can find a PNG one here. Save image as Mario. Okay, never mind. Let's just do Mario with a JPEG. It's still an image. Okay, now that we have the Mario deal in our download file, so let me just go to my folder, downloads, Mario. Okay, so yeah, let's try to deserialize, make it into a blob file. So there's a thing that you could try online. Let's say base 60 image to base 64, I believe. Let me try to open this guy right here. There's a better one actually. This one, Guru something. Base 64, hopefully. Yeah, this one. And then we'll reconvert it back to an image, basically. All right, here's the, like, an idea on how those blobs work. But on Salesforce, it's kind of like, different. Like I said, it's sort of an advanced topic. So, but anyways, for example, we wanna let's try to view this as an image. An extra large icon. Okay, so literally Mario is an image, right? So how do you put it in the database? So first is you're gonna be serializing it to bits and pieces. So you can store it inside the database like field, an actual field, which is called a blob. And what is a blob again? It's a binary data stored as a single object, blob. Okay, so we'll go here. So we're gonna be choosing that file, downloads in Mario, and open. Okay, and then encode the image to base 64. All right, so it's now here. This is the actual blob. It's just composed of text. All right. So for example, you serialize it, you copy this, you know, gibberish characters and stuck it in the field in your table in your database. And then retrieve it, deserialize it, and convert it back to an image. So Let's try to simulate that to get an idea how this thing works. And just copy it, go here, and then just place your base 64. No, that's the other way around. So we're gonna look for that converter image to base. No. Base 64 to image is the other way around. Sorry. All right. So this is the right one. So we're gonna be pasting our code, the gibberish code, for example, and then decode it there. So you'll get Mario back in its original shape or form. So that is how you would think that the blob would work, okay? In a nutshell. Like I said, it's an advanced topic. This is actually used for a use case. I'm just gonna read it. So blobs can be accepted as web service integrations. So that's an advanced topic stored in a document. So the body of a document is actually a blob, and then sent as attachment. So something like that. Okay. So there's a demo code here just to show kind of how to use a blob. So this one is attachment in Salesforce. So let me hop in back to Salesforce. Let me go to contacts just for kicks. For example, you wanna go with a contact. So let's go with this guy, Indy Young. And in Salesforce, you do have this notes and attachments where you could sort of upload files. Yeah. So, but we're not gonna be using this button. We're gonna be using the developer console to sort of create an attachment on the fly inside the Apex. I mean, using Apex inside the developer console. Okay, so let's see if this actually works. All right, so let me just copy this guy right here. So, hopefully we could adjust. All right, so pretty much this one, excuse me. So this particular um variable here is just a string, and inside it is an HTML formatting, okay? And then we're gonna be creating a oh, actually no, we're not gonna be inserting this one with Andy. We're gonna be creating another record, okay? Just to keep it simple. All right. So let me just go back to contacts. Go to I think recent contacts, so it will just auto populate here. So let me try it. So the first thing is we're gonna be creating this one record. The name is the new company, and then let me just try to double check first if I created one. The new company, or actually, it's not on the contacts; it's on the accounts, and then yeah, recent accounts. This one, not the contacts. Sorry, guys, but it's the same concept. So if you try to open up a contact, you still have this notes and attachments right here where you can upload files. Okay, so it's the basic concept, but let's just demo it. So here, you're gonna be creating this new account, and then we're gonna insert it using Apex DML. So this will be part of the next topic. So once the record is created, we'll create an attachment here, object, and then we're going to be using the parent ID, and then copy the newly created record, which is the new company. So by the way, when you create a new record, it actually creates the ID, the one that we copied here on top. Remember on top here, when you select a record, it's on top, that's the ID. Okay. So after that, this is the file name. So the name will be the new company dot PDF because we're gonna be creating a PDF on the fly and then attach it to the body. So the body is actually a blob. So this PDF function analyzes this into a blob file and then just stuck it into the body. And after that, just simply insert the attachment. So fingers crossed, hopefully this will work. All right, no errors, no nothing. But let's go here and then refresh. There should be a new account right there. The new company. And voila, there we go. And then there should be an attachment. Attachment. There you have it. And then we're going to be opening it. All right, so there you have it, guys. So it was actually able to read the HTML file inside our console. So let's just go back right there. So as you can see, that's the thing right there. Okay. So like I said, this is an advanced topic, guys. So first, you have to know, how integration works, how API works. I'm just showing you, what a blob is in a nutshell. Hopefully, I have given you some ideas about a blob. Okay. So yeah, that's it for primitives, guys. And let's see, what will be the next topic? So our next topic would be how to pass different values to different data types. So that's gonna be typecasting. That's gonna be next. So stick around, guys. Thanks. Hello, guys. Welcome back to our tutorial. So the next topic is about typecasting. So typecasting is just allowing you to pass value to different data types. Reasonable values, that is. For example, you have this numeric string data that is stored on a string, but you want to pass it to an int. It's reasonable because it's 1947, which is actually an integer. So how do you do that? So that is what we call typecasting. Let me show you an example. So this is actually pretty easy. So all I need to do is go here, then paste. So pretty much what it does is it converts the numeric string value, of course, to an integer and just put it in there. That is how it works, basically. As long as this is a valid integer, of course, okay? All right, let me show you how it works. So we'll just execute it. Okay, and then just click debug only. And there you have it, 1947, or rather 1947. Okay, so let's show other examples. So by the way, this is a numeric string to an integer data type. And then by the way, you could also do this if you're lazy, um, you don't want to do num string, you can actually just replace it with a literal numeric string. It should actually work as well. So let's just test it. Go to debug only, so it still works. Okay. Next, more examples. Okay, by the way, let me teach you something. If you wanna check the type, let me just try to add this one. So this is kind of how you do it in Apex, sort of like a hackish way, but yeah. So for example, you wanna check um num int, which is this guy right here, which is rather an integer. So you want to confirm if it's really an integer. So you do this sort of hackish way. So you'll just say object, the variable, and then you'll say instance of, which is a keyword, which tells us what instance class it is. So in this case, it's an integer because every in Apex, every variable that you create is actually a class. So, all right, let's just do a demo, just to check it. So execute and then debug only. So yeah, data type integer, so true. So meaning this one is actually an instance of an integer class. Got it? All right. So this is by the way one of the purpose of the Boolean variable. Okay, so let's just go back to the casting side. So here's another example. Passing a numeric string to double or decimal. So let's see. Oh, by the way, guys, so let's just talk about what if this is not a valid string. What do I mean by that? Not a valid string. For example, I put a comma, all right? You know that integers in Apex doesn't accept comma, although it's still 1947 or 1947. It's an integer, but it has this extra character which is, you know, in an invalid integer, so it won't actually work. It will actually complain, system type exception, blah blah blah, invalid integer because of the comma. So it works the same, basically the same way. Okay, only valid integer, guys. All right. So hope that clarifies. And then this one, next example is passing a numeric string to a double or decimal. So it's the same, you know, um, way of doing things. The only thing that you um, do is um, change the class here, double or decimal, then use the value of. Just like in the other example earlier, we just simply use this value of method for the integer class. So it's the same thing. And then this one simply checks, what type of um, variable is this thing. You'll use the instance of. So let's just run it. So we'll have some samples. There you go. And then what else? So passing integer or decimal numbers to a string. So it's the other way around. So pretty much it's the same idea. So this time you'll use string of value. So let's just copy this. By the way, guys, you can pause the video and try it yourself. Okay, it's it's more effective that way. And let's just paste it. So it's the same deal as you can see. So this one is just an add-on, so you know how to check if this variable is indeed of type string or what it really is. So when we execute it, it will do the typecasting for us, and there you have it. So from decimal to a string, this is now a string, okay? It's not a decimal or double or an integer because we've typecasted it the other way around to string, okay? So that's about it. And lastly, let's try to check this one. So passing double to decimal and vice versa is actually allowed. So this is some demo code right here. All right, so as you can see, this is a double. This is a decimal, so it's empty. So I'm gonna pass my pi, which is a double, to a decimal num, which is decimal, obviously. So no errors here when we run it. And the other way around, I changed the number of the decimal num just for kicks, stuck it into pi, and display it. So let's try it. Let's see if it works. No errors. And there you have it. Okay, so that is pretty much in a nutshell how you do typecasting in Apex. So here's again the code for typecasting. All right, so there you have it, guys. And then I believe this is the end of our simple database, not database, but data type series, focusing more on the primitive data types. All right, so the next tutorial would be probably with S objects. Okay, so do stick around and follow the series, guys. Again, thank you so much for your time and your support. Please do like and subscribe, and stay safe, guys. Have a good one. Bye for now.